Well, people are joining our session now, and we're live. Just to wrap up this wonderful few hours together, I just would love to go around the room and hear from you guys, and then anyone else in the chat who wants to share any of their takeaways, their calls to action, their inspired moments of the last couple hours. I know for me, I saw a theme of vulnerability and the need for community and compassion for each other in this moment that we're in, and caring beyond ourselves. I think the discussion about the masks, Peter, and about having that compassion for people. And then for no matter what we're going through in the pandemic and the social justice, the need for racial and social justice, having that broader understanding and compassion for others and what they're going through and experiencing every day. So with that, I'll pass it off to go first. Raise your hand.
Shawn.
I'll go.
Okay. Peter, then Shawn.
Wait. I saw a hand down here. Wait. Shawn, you go first. I'll go after you.
Well, I really have appreciated the day, and I think one of the things that I loved, and I'm going to start by kind of reflecting on something early, and it was that all the things we're facing are institutional issues. They're big. They're enormous. And that part of it's challenging and fearful, and it equates all that human part of us that's hard. But what I love was several times today I've heard the word reinvention. And that's the opposite of that. That's the start of something new. That's about the plant growing. It's about seeing the system and the pieces that broke and how do you fix it. And, somebody made an analogy in one of the conversations I was in about, you don't fix a broken bone by keeping it broken. You fix a broken bone by picking it back together and doing the things that make it heal. And I am moved to the healing.
You guys look so great. Okay. Who's next? Peter? Thank you, Shawn.
That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm always inspired by Eamonn, so that just goes without saying.
We're going to go for a beer soon.
It's his hair, right? It's his hair.
It's the hair. The hair is just so inspiring. I wish I hadn't cut mine now. The thing that really hits me going through this, we were talking about the masks a little bit. And I think everything right now, it's so easy to get emotionally reactive to it. To wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, to the police violence, the marches, the responses to it from our government. I mean, everything is so charged right now. And I've worked, I've found myself during this pandemic in isolation having to wrestle with my own emotions about that, getting so angry and so frustrated. And what I was reminded of here, and with this group of people that I now I'm blessed to see, even if it's virtually every year, is how much we need empathy and patience and intelligence and kindness and an ability to step into someone else's shoes for a beat, even if we disagree with them, and try and get their point of view. Just all of that feels like it's personified here with this group of people. And so I'm really heartened by it. I'm heartened and kind of re-inspired to go apply that to my life. So thank you all, those who are on the pictures and those who aren't.
Thank you. Geof?
I have two comments. One is that, and Aimée, I've been saying this for years. There's something really special about this community. We all attend a bunch of conferences. We all do the rubber chicken dinners, all of it, right? And from the first time I went to one of your summits, I love the diversity of topics and I love diversity of people, personality. Eamon, I was laughing earlier saying, you know, there's only one Eamon, right? And in fairness, Aimée attracts several Eamons in South Valley. It's a wonderful assortment of people. It's a very unique community. So emotion number one is that keep doing what you're doing. And I, for one, want to redouble my efforts to bring more people in, because I think magic happens. And I see these relationships. I've gotten to know Shawn and Peter and Julie over at BNP. So there's a process and an alchemy that happens here that I think we all have to help scale further, because good things will come out of it.
Right.
The second insight for me is the word hope. And look, and I meant what I said earlier, I got really depressed from time to time during COVID. And then I would have a call with somebody I'd never met before, a potential impact capital partner, or somebody like-minded, right? Very much aligned. And we all know, for what we do, we all know during this moment, our phones lit up. Everybody I know in this space has never worked harder, right? Right? And so I think there's a certain energy in the world. And to Peter's point, you know, out of darkness comes light. So the thing for me is hope. And today reinforced that there are people doing incredible things on incredibly difficult and complex issues. We can figure this out. We absolutely can figure this out. So those are my two insights.
Thank you. So lucky to have you here, Geof. Amanda? Oh.
Wonderful to follow that. And I love alchemy and hope. I think our session today was really about those two things. And for me, it was very exciting to see what Georgie and Katharina Schwab have been able to do that's brand new with UBS and in the impact space, helping with nonprofits who are also making a contribution to the planet. So for me, I think you are an alchemist, Aimée, too. You managed to bring together such an incredible ecosystem of people. We all just know that we have to say yes to you, because it's all no matter what. So whenever you ask, we're just like, yes. And then you come into this incredible space. And it's certainly given me a big lift. And I guess the takeaway for me is something that was said during our workshop, which is Mandela's phrase, it's always impossible until it's done. And we know that we can move forward with like-minded people who are creating these wonderful new ways of being in the world. And hopefully this clash is all about the last dying throes of the baddies, and the goodies are going to win. So thank you. It's been a real privilege to be here.
Thank you, Amanda.
Nice.
Again, we're so fortunate. Maggie.
I just want to say I think Mitch's plant medicine somehow mysteriously came up to Sonoma, because I've gotten a high off of this. Hope, inspiration, and interconnectedness are big takeaways for me. And the diversity of the speakers and topics, Aimée, you are an alchemist. In terms of bringing from the financial aspects that Amanda mentioned to the corporate responsibility that Eamonn was talking about, to indigenous wisdom, to looking at planetary health and what's happened with COVID and the convergence of ideals, I think that was spoken in your session, where we need to look at the underlying systemic problems. And what you've done through the interconnectedness is COVID is a great example of the interconnectedness of systemic problems that's blown the lid off. And so now you have some of the critical thinkers covering many different issue areas that are going to be able to create this new reality. And we've been able to move hearts and minds. And I think at the end of the day, it's really about the transformation of us as individuals who will be energized and can carry all of this new work to the next level. So keep doing what you're doing. I hope that you will continue with the theme of maybe every other month. You had talked about doing some virtual webinars or whatever we want to call these, and moving toward reconvergence in person by next year. You're really, like I said, last year was my first year here, and I was so overblown by the dynamism of the speakers. And if anything, there's only one challenge you have, Aimée. You have too much information. There's not enough brain. There's lots of problems to have. I mean, we have to figure out how to have water in, water out breaks. But, other than that, the richness, you've woven such a rich tapestry. So thank you. And thank all the participants, too.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Eamonn.
Gosh, I try to decide who I want to go and hang out with the most. Peter's got the looking house, but Amanda's in Hawaii. Oh, it's a tough call.
Wait.
Yeah.
Take that.
I was really encouraged by. I really enjoyed these conversations. I wasn't sure how 4 hours of this on a new platform I haven't used before was going to work, but it's been brilliant. I want to thank Debs for challenging the one thing I really had no answer to, and I don't think we did as a group, which is for all this stuff around the election and politics and polarization, how we deal with this in the rural communities. Because we tend to just assume either we're talking about cities or middle-class communities or whatever. But she really challenged us in our conversation in our campfire group. Is like, how do we, this extreme polarization of rural America, like how do we deal with that? But I do remind myself that all these issues, as Shawn also said, they're institutional, and we've sort of talked today about the health system. We've talked about food security, race, law and order, criminal justice. Like all of these things most of them are things we've inherited, but it's now on us to solve. And I feel like the political system feels so broken. But the two things I feel like I can be excited about is the youth and the rebuilding of civic duty with youth leaders. Which was staggering. I was on a thing with Civics Unplugged, like a 2-hour session on Saturday, and they got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson talking to them. Like, how the hell did you kids do this? But they did, and they've got amazing, not just politicians, but amazing people coming on board. So I feel like the long-term solution is down to Ruby and those communities. And the short term is that we're seeing people like Jamal Bowman, like coming out of nowhere and challenging 30-year institutional leaders like AOC did. And I'm like, God, this has to be fixed from like local out. These things about race and police and criminal justice, like the new president's not going to solve this if we do get one. But it's about people stepping up for civic, local duty. And I think the last thing I feel is that business has such a pivotal role to play on this, and that's for me and Geof and others to bang that drum. But I feel like business is increasingly out of touch with the sentiment of society. And I think it was Peter, but it could have been someone else that smashed into this thing about this professional and personal. And it drove me nuts when I was at The Guardian for years that clients and agencies loved what we wrote, but the agencies never spent the money. And I think now that's what's coming to play is, as individuals, how we spend our money and how we show up at work and call out corporations and business is now personal. You can't say that's my life and that's my business life and here's my personal life. The two are no longer apart for me. And I think how we address that, the investment community will do their best to assess how businesses act responsibly. But my thing that reinforced listening to you today was it is personal now.
It is.
Yep.
Thanks, Eamonn. It's that alignment of values and the alignment across everything that we do. what we buy, how we vote, how we talk to people. You asked about the rural disconnect, and I feel like we have to just continue, each of us, to try to have more conversation, more compassion, and more connection, one-on-one and in our communities. And I think that we just continue to have to do it on a retail, one-on-one level. It's all about that human connection, which I hope, today I definitely felt that, seeing everybody on the screen and people in the chats, was to reconnect, to support each other in the work that we're all working to do, and to pull more people in. I love that we had new people joining us today and getting to know the forum community, and I hope that all of you will find ways to connect with each other going forward. We have our next events, July 28th and 30th. So I wanted to point you to those because we're going to have a lot more deep content, rich discussions. This was our first event using these platforms. We'll do a little debriefing and making sure that this will work best for those, or whether we should look to a little bit of a different platform or platform mix. Because what we're doing this year is what we intended to do in person when we were having the event in June, the 3 days in person. We plan to have a combination of main stage session and working sessions around specific initiatives, what we've been calling Sun Valley Spark projects, because over the years, the forum has sparked concrete collaborations. We were going to have the Prime Minister of Fiji speaking to us about rural electrification programs that have come to villages in Fiji because of the result of connections that were made at the forum back in 2016. And then we're going to have Hillary Kranz talking about solar going up across Washington State public land. She's their public lands commissioner because of relationships she made at the forum a few years ago. And I think when I hear these little stories, and I get so excited by what we can do. And in this virtual platform, it's harder. But the intent in July 28th and 30th is to have those main stage, cutting edge, keynote, inspiring discussions and talks, but also to have these Sun Valley Spark project sessions where we have a couple of really compelling projects that need all of us to galvanize our resources, relationships, philanthropy, investment, partners, expertise around them to help them scale up. So more intentionally, we've been 5 years in at the forum. This is our 6th year. Let's not just rely on that magic happening. Let's intentionally come together around a few specific initiatives that need a little support to scale up and have the potential to really help solve some of the challenges we've been talking about on the issues that you all are working on. So we're really excited for the July 28th with the well-being in the food systems. And so we'll be talking about, as Amanda mentioned, how leaders are leading beyond GDP, leading for a greater sense of well-being, and also our food system specifically. How do we make that transformation? And I'm really proud of our Sun Valley Institute team. Actually, the team are semi-finalists in the Rockefeller Foundation's Food System Vision Prize for our food system vision here in Idaho. And I'm just so proud of the Local Food Alliance and the co-directors of our team here. And so we're going to have those conversations of what is that vision and how do we practically make those transformations of our food systems. And then July 30th, we're going to have a combination of main stage and working sessions around rebalancing our human relationship with nature. So really excited about those conversations as well. Incredible speakers and projects to be working on together. So I think with that, I would love to just thank you all for joining us. I know we're 13 minutes over. And so I really appreciate your participation, your insights, your enthusiasm, excitement, inspiration, knowledge, expertise, all of it. To those of you on the screen, to those of you who were on the screen, and to those of you who've been contributing directly through the campfire discussions, the networking discussions, and the chats. It makes it all come together, and can't wait to see you again July 28th. And hopefully sooner as we all connect in the virtual world until we can be together. Save the date, July 13 to 16, 2021, to come back to Sun Valley. We hope, and take care. I know I know for me watching the news and seeing what so many people are going through right now, it can be pretty devastating. And so thank you for being part of a community to support each other as we're all working to help those situations right themselves. Thank you, guys.
Well done.
Thank you.
Beautifully done. Really well done.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's great.
Everyone keep in touch,
Really
please.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Hello
Bye.
from Hawaii.
Thank you.